Our next guest has created some incredible technology that reduces emissions by a staggering amount for anything that runs on diesel engine. Today he is here talking about this invention for the very first time. Please welcome the CEO of HNO Green Fuels, Don Owens.
There he is.
Thank you very much.
Don, what's
Great
up,
to
man?
have you here.
How are you? How are
All
you?
right, great to
Yeah.
have you. So this is it, man.
This is it. That's it. Actually, what we've done is we've taken, diesel engines create an enormous amount of bad stuff that harms human beings. And what we've done is we've created a device that actually reduces the emissions in diesel engines by almost 50%, but also produces oxygen in the process of reducing these emissions.
This is so mind-boggling that you were able to create something like this. I think for people who don't know just how many diesel engines there are running around out there,
Oh my God.
anytime you see a Volkswagen TDI, TDI stands for turbo diesel, right? Turbo diesel injection, turbo diesel injection, or something like that. It's a diesel.
It's a diesel, right?
Even though it's a little bitty sedan, it's a diesel.
It's a diesel, right?
Huge trucks, semi-trucks, huge boats, they run on these diesel engines.
Yep.
And the challenge with the diesel engine is that in idle, it's extremely inefficient.
Right.
So in idle, it's very pollutant.
That's right. Exactly right.
And there's so many of these engines out there. You've actually come up with your solution. This is the one that would fix the Volkswagen.
Right.
Right.
Potentially that's the one that can fix the Volkswagen, but it's also adaptable to work on just about anything. Anything that burns diesel fuel, this concept can work on. From the little Volkswagens to the big cargo ships that come into the ports. And, you know.
And this is the very beginning. So this is, when we say it's your coming out party, literally no one knows, you've been doing this in secret until now.
Right, right.
Volkswagen doesn't know until they see this. All the big bargers, the manufacturers, they don't know until they see this.
Right.
Nobody knows that you've come up with this, that you've
Right.
figured out what to do. What is it that you figured out? How are you able to reduce the emissions by 50% for diesel engines?
Okay, now, and in fact, it was kind of an accident because it didn't start off as reducing emissions for diesel engines. But when we got into testing, we found that we had some very inconsistent results for gasoline engines. But one day we decided to test diesels, and the fuel economy was what I was looking for, was not that great. But in fact, I thought the test was kind of a failure. But the technician afterwards came up to me and said, "Hey, Don, by the way, do you know that this thing reduced your emissions by almost 50%? I said, what kind of emissions? He said, particulate matter emissions. I said, particulate matter? What's particulate matter? And then I went back and looked at it up on the internet and found out the particulate matter was more important than the fuel economy. So we've discovered this, and it uses as a catalyst. And the catalyst actually makes the combustion in the combustion chamber work better. So the combustion is a little bit more efficient, a lot more efficient in fact, so that the particulate matter, which is unburned fuel, doesn't come out in the large quantities that it normally comes out. But what happens is because no combustion engine can burn 100% of the fuel. It's just impossible. But what we do is, because we add a catalyst to the combustion chamber, we end up making that engine, that same old engine that burns very inefficiently initially, to burn it a lot more efficiently. So the particulate matter, or the unburned fuel, is reduced drastically.
Wow. So the overall pollutants are just reduced
Yes.
dramatically
Dramatically.
with this invention that
Yes.
no one has heard about until right now.
Right.
And how long have you been working on this?
I've been working on it now for about 7 years. I think I got started when my little daughter was born. And so it's about 7 years, and it was in the garage, of course. That's where everything starts. You can't do anything but in the garage. but we just really came out with a product. We just finally have a product, because it was years and years of development, and we really didn't know where it was headed. We accidentally discovered the oxygen part of it, which was we think is going to be a huge benefit, because
Yeah, let's talk about that again, because
Okay.
not only does this reduce the emissions
Yeah.
and the pollution, but it actually somehow puts oxygen into the atmosphere?
Yeah, it puts oxygen into the atmosphere just like a tree, just like a leaf. In fact, that's the reason why it's called leaf. We wanted the acronym to say what a leaf does. And what a leaf does is produce oxygen. It takes carbon dioxide from the air and water from the ground, and it produces oxygen. What we do is we take water, and we make hydrogen, which is the catalyst for the engine. But then, in the process of doing that, the water produces oxygen, and oxygen goes into the air.
So wait, so what does LEAF actually, what is the acronym LEAF?
LEAF actually means leveraging energy efficient fuel with hydrogen.
Okay.
And that's what LEAF is. And we call it LEAF because I didn't want to call it anything hydrogen because it really is a leaf. It really is a leaf because it produces oxygen.
Right.
And which is the beautiful side effect, you know.
Cherry on the top.
Yeah.
It's a big cherry on the
right,
top.
It's a big cherry on the top.
So because you're taking water, so you use water, and then you separate the hydrogen and the oxygen
Right.
of the water, the H2O.
Right.
You take the hydrogen, you use that in this machine, inject it into the engine,
Right.
makes it more efficient, and then the byproduct of that separation is the oxygen, which gets released
goes
into the
in.
atmosphere.
Exactly right.
It's incredible.
Exactly.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
We could literally, and in fact, anything that burns fuel should have this, because if we can improve the combustion, we end up producing oxygen at the same time.
Right.
So you can produce billions and billions of tons of oxygen, billions. Now I don't know what the effect that would be on our planet, but I have reasons to suspect it doesn't hurt.
Yes.
So the fact that we can reduce emissions so drastically and produce oxygen, it can only be a positive.
It's a huge positive. I mean, we look at the rate at which the forests are being torn down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally, it's like an acre a minute or something like that. It's hard to fathom.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom. Yeah.
We need oxygen, man.
We need oxygen, and
We
this
need
thing
desperately.
it can produce oxygen, and literally everything that burns fuel should have this, because it can produce oxygen. If it burns fuel, if it's combustion, it should be producing oxygen. Why not?
Let me ask you something here, Don. I'm on board.
Okay.
I get
Yeah.
it. This makes sense. I realize you've just now finally got a product together after all the research, all the R&D that you guys have done over the last 7 years. You finally have a product. Do you have multiple products? How is this thing going to launch? Are you going to launch with the small one first and then go bigger, or several at the same time?
Well, we have another model that we're going to be targeting a different size engine. That's for the smaller engines. We have another engine class, 6 to 8 liter engines that another model does. But we're going to start with that. That includes things like buses, school buses, tow trucks, some of the mid-range diesel engines. But it's so many diesel engines out there. It's just hard to imagine. So the market is just humongous, but we have to start somewhere. So we're going to start with the 6 to 8 liter engines. But the concept can work on anything. I just found out recently that some of these big cargo ships, when they're sitting in these ports idling, they produce the equivalent of 40,000 vehicles. 40,000, just one ship. But something like this can go on an engine like that and reduce some of those emissions at idle.
I think
so
it
can.
honestly, that's a huge part of this, because those big tankers do run on enormous diesel engines.
Right. Right.
Enormous. I mean, engines that are bigger than this studio.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's
true.
right. They're absolutely correct.
And when they're idling, they just must be terribly inefficient.
They are horribly inefficient. And we found in our testing that just on the testing that we did on a 10-liter engine, that we had a 12% reduction in fuel usage at idle, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that's because it's the most inefficient time that a diesel engine runs, and we can, by using this technology, we can make that time a more efficient time, and we can reduce the fuel usage at the same time.
And produce oxygen.
And produce oxygen.
Anything else? Does it shoot out a slice of toast?
Yeah,
that's
right.
like just perfectly crisped as well?
No, not
B&J?
quite. We're looking to make that happen.
Okay, that's next. Don, how do I get on board with something like this? I mean, I know, we almost got there last time you were here, but I mean, honestly, how does a guy like me or someone out there watching the show invest in this organization or in making something like this happen?
Well, one of the things we are truly looking for is people that can embrace what we're trying to do. We know we have reasons to suspect this can really help the planet, and a lot of people want to help the planet, but we also need to have people that can embrace what we're doing, that can bring in all the right components, all the right pieces, all the right people, so that we can put everything together, so that we can get it everywhere.
Yeah.
But obviously, I have a small company, and people can invest. But I don't want to talk about investment, because that's not. I don't know if it's. You can run into other issues, legal issues with investing and promoting investing, because it's a private company right now. It's not a public company.
So the short answer is no, I can't invest in your company. Sorry, bro. This is too big to let you in.
No. But no, at the same time, let me just tell you how we built the company. We actually built the company on a friends and family basis. Everything we've been able to do is because I started off with a small group that turned into a larger group, that turned into a larger group, that turned into a larger group. And it's just regular people with regular amounts of money. So in a way, you can invest, but I don't want to promote investing.
Sure.
But you can.
Well, this is my investment right here. This is
Yeah.
we're having you on the show. We're gonna get this out there. I'll tell you what, man. If you took this thing on Shark Tank,
I was just thinking
and
the
you
same
didn't
thing.
have the sharks just fist fighting
Yeah.
over the opportunity to get involved with something like this, I mean, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing story. Don, you're doing great work. I'll
you.
do anything I can to help you. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
Dad.
your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Thank
Stick
you very
around for
much.
more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.